In a world where success is being sought after, yet in the wrong places, guiding you through the secrets to maximizing productivity and achieving your goals is my utmost priority. Welcome to Productivity Mind, and I'm your host, Perebo Adumo, aka the CEO. We will dive into actionable tips, inspiring stories, and expert interviews to help you work smarter, not harder. So grab your favorite beverage, relax, and let's get productive. Good day, and welcome to Productivity Mind. Today's podcast, I want to talk about why my life isn't working. So you can actually personalize that. Yes, it's why your life isn't working. Why I decided to use why my life isn't working, because if I use your, it makes me keep myself far away from the question. So why my life isn't working? I think you should look at it that way. So many of us, it seems like our life is on autopilot. Seems like we really can't make the progress we want, and we are nose diving to struggles. We are nose diving to the wrong end of life we really want. So, but if there's any reason our life isn't working, this time around, I don't want to look about the external factors, because external factors, yes, they play a role, but they are not a major reason why our life don't work. The major reason our life doesn't really work, they are the internal factors. So I understand that probably you may have been given birth to in a poor home. I understand that, yes, you may have been adopted. I understand that probably you grew up in a foster care and all that. But all we will have to give is sympathy. But guess what? Sympathy doesn't put any money in your bank account. Sympathy doesn't make your life better. Rather, it makes you relax on yourself. It makes you to reduce your pushing rate. Because when people begin to sympathize with you, you begin to feel, you begin to wait for their approval at the same time. But if you can tell yourself the truth, yes, I may have been given birth to in a home that is not, in fact, we never had 3 square meals. Or maybe I was given birth to and my mom dumped me when I was little. Or maybe whatever the excuses there are, I want you to understand that the reason why your life isn't working is not totally dependent on the external factors. No, someone once said that when they give birth to you, you look like your parents, right? But when you die looking like your decisions, the decisions you made by yourself, not the decisions people made for you. So I would say, stop looking outside yourself for the reason your life isn't working, because the major reason your life isn't working is inside of you. You are the major reason why your life isn't working. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I needed to swallow that pill. I know of a lady who she was being, as at when I met her, she was being raped by her cousin for that was lasting for a period of 7 to 8 years, and she felt so much of not being good enough. She felt so much like she was only a sex toy, But after a while, he began to talk to her, made her understand that, see, your life will be whatever you want it to be. Your life won't be far away from your thought. Your life won't be far away from what you see it. Because like the scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. He's not saying that as a man thinks, then he will become. He said a man's output is a product of his thought patterns. In as much as it's going to be hard to agree, but wherever you find yourself now, it's a product of the thoughts of yesterday. So if a man is going to be better off tomorrow, his thoughts today has to change And it shouldn't look like what yesterday thoughts were like, because yesterday thoughts was what's accumulated to today's reality. So tomorrow's reality will be a product of today's thoughts. I would like to say, for greatness to be achieved, average men needs to believe in their own greatness. For greatness to be achieved, average men must believe in their own greatness. So nobody's going to believe it for you. Your greatness is inside of you. But that's all it will become if you don't believe in it. How do you really change that thought inside of you? How do you stop looking outside and then focus on what is really inside? There are three major things, and I gave it an acronym VET, V-E-T, where you need to vet yourself, right? You need to vet your life. And the V is the value battle. I say that again, value battle. There's always a battle of value inside of us. There's a battle of valuability. Are we valuable? Haven't you realized whenever you want to do something, there's always a hold back because you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough for this thing. I'm not sure I can really do it the way other people would have wanted it. But guess what? If someone else was to tell you, I want to do this, you will give the person all the push, all the support. You will give the person all the advice. But when it's your turn, there's a hold back. Now, that's the value battle. It's a battle of accepting that you are valuable. The second, E, excuses. A friend of mine always says, excuses are used by the incompetent, and those that use them are not wise. Excuses are used by the incompetent, and those that use them are not wise. Excuses gives you a momentary pleasure. So, take for example, I'm supposed to do this podcast, right? And I find out the excuses why why I can't do it. I will feel relaxed, comfortable, have a freer time for myself. But doing this podcast will mean I will need to take time to really be productive. I will have to put in some work. So momentarily, when you take excuses, when you give excuses, you are comfortable at the moment. But guess what? In the future, you will actually regret giving those excuses. There's what is called the pleasure pain principle. The pleasure pain principle says, for every pleasure, there is always a pain ahead. And for every pain you accept, there's always a pleasure ahead. So it's a choice to choose between pleasure today and then face pain tomorrow. Or I take the pain today and then I get to enjoy the pleasure tomorrow. So the T is time mismanagement. Time mismanagement. This is the third reason why our life isn't working. So everybody has 24 hours. But what you do with your 24 hours is dependent on you. I've had a lot of business sessions with people who say, sir, I'm working, but I really want to do business. But whenever I go to work, when I do 9 to 5, whenever I go to work and I come back, I'm very tired. It's legit. But let me tell you the truth. There are also many people who do 9 to 5 and then they come back and they do something for themselves. So understand that for such persons, I always tell them, you have a job and you have your work. Your job is where you go to every morning, Monday to Fridays. You do your 9 to 5. But your work is your personal achievement, the things you do for yourself, that side hustle, that side business, that lecture, that podcast, that thing you do that is for you and not necessarily for any company. That's your work. The difference is that you cannot transfer your work. Sorry, you cannot transfer your job to your children, but you can transfer your work to your children. So if I do 9 to 5 and I have a side business, I can't hand over my job to my child, but I can hand over that side hustle, that side business to my child. Now that's work. That's not job. So as I bring today's podcast to a close, I want to ask you again, why is your life not working? And what do you need to change? Remember the vet, the value battles that you keep having inside of you, the excuses you keep making when you want to make the right, you want to make the move, and then the mismanagement of your time. On those notes, I call it a day.